The Buffalo Bills went 12-5 last season and likely blew a great opportunity to get to the Super Bowl in a year where the Ravens weren't in the playoffs, where the Chiefs weren't in the playoffs, the Bengals, well, they're always not in the playoffs. A lot of elite quarterbacks that are really tough to get through weren't in the playoffs. This was maybe their best shot at getting to a Super Bowl with the roster they have constructed, but they failed to do so, losing to the Broncos in the divisional round. So, what do the Bills do? Where do they go from here? Well, in real life, they fired Sean McDermott and promoted Joe Brady to be their head coach. Now, is that going to be what really changes things? I don't know. Personally, I thought Sean McDermott did a pretty good job. I thought maybe some of those game management issues that he had years prior, I thought he improved on, honestly. I really think this was more of a roster issue. I think there were some issues at receiver. I think there were some issues on defense, maybe getting pressure, things like that at times with this Bills team. And I think that's maybe why they came up a little bit short here. But you know what? Wanted to make a change. Maybe didn't want to lose a great offensive coordinator and stick with a defensive minded head coach that hasn't put together a truly elite defense. That makes a lot of sense in my opinion. I totally understand it. Maybe should have made the move last year as opposed to this year, if that makes any sense. But the Bills here, our goal is to win a Super Bowl here with Josh Allen. That could finally do one of these once with one of these truly elite quarterbacks again, because that regression bug has been worked out, fixed. Menus are back, working fast. So let's get into this rebuild here. Let's try to win Buffalo a Super Bowl. And if you've been enjoying the rebuilds, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. We got more rebuilds coming up here. I'm going to try to get at least one rebuild out a week. We still have a couple more teams that we're going to try to get to, and then I'll maybe start redoing some of these rebuilds that I did early in the year, like the Jets, like the Packers, and some of the other teams that I did to start things off, try to do them again and see if we can do them a lot better now that we know a little bit more about the game, and now that I'm a little bit better, I think, at doing these rebuilds. So if you've been enjoying it, hit the subscribe button for more rebuild content. So let's get into this one. Yeah, I love cookies. Keon Coleman, I think, has been a massive disappointment for everyone. I think, himself, the team, just everyone has been a really big disappointment. I do think it's funny that you saw the GM who got to keep his job talking about, yeah, actually, Sean McDermott's the one who pushed for him. I didn't even want Keon Coleman. I think he's complete bum. You have to be a moron to want Keon Coleman, which is like, Keon Coleman's still on the roster, dude. It's, that doesn't really build a lot of confidence in the future of that team. But, in this world, I'm the GM now, and there is no that other guy. Keon Coleman's still here, still a young player. I liked Keon Coleman. I thought, coach him up, whatever. But I really do think it says something that, if you can't create separation in college, and you have to rely on like crazy catches for most of your production and things like that, then you know what? You probably shouldn't be a first round pick. You probably shouldn't go in the first round, and you just can't rely on getting coached up. You have to, show, I think, consistent production and consistent ability to create separation. That's matters a lot. And you look at this receiving core, it's kind of just amazing that, this is kind of what they thought would suffice in AFC, where you got to put up points, right? You're going to have to put up points against elite quarterbacks. Granted, those quarterbacks, they didn't make the playoffs this year, but still, you're going up against elite guys. You need more than Brandon Cooks and Curtis Samuel, and I like Shakir, really good player. But if he was like the third best receiver on this team, that'd be great. But he is maybe the best receiver on this team. You do got some good tight ends here. Dalton Kincaid, Dawson Knox. I don't know what he does. But yeah, offensive line, pretty good. Probably some pieces that we'll have to re-sign. And then defensively, Joey Bosa, was a guy. He was there, man. I felt like most of the season, especially in the playoffs, where it's just like, it's like, is Joey Bosa even out there playing at times? Did he play today? He's one of those guys. Some talent here on this corner room. Probably still have to get younger. Trey White, very old. Well, not, I don't know, very old, but injury history is only 30, so he's not very old. That's ancient in NFL terms. Still, I thought he was still productive at times, but not a piece for the long term. Matt Milano, very good player, but Poyer, we got to get a little bit better, or we got to get younger at some of these safety spots. Keep Cole Bishop around. Some work here to be done, but I don't think too much. But yeah, let's get into the re-signing and free agency, see what we can do to improve this team. All right, so a decent number of retirements here. We got 5 here: Matthew Judon, Shaq Thompson, Matt Prater, Jordan Poyer, and Daquan Jones, all retiring here. So a couple positions we're gonna have to fill, but kicker, whatever. Jordan Poyer, I was thinking of moving on from him, but he does it for me by retiring. So gonna have to find probably a new starting strong safety, and yeah. All right, into the player re-signing period here. We are going to pick up Dalton Kincaid's option right there, but we look through here, Joey Bosa, probably still way too highly rated, for being honest, for what his on-field production is compared to how the game still views him. 86 overall, Espinoza, 75 overall, Gabe Davis. Not going to bring back Matt Milano. I would like to bring back, but I would also like to keep Connor McGovern around. Let's see if we can get that up to, what's that? Almost, almost $11 million yearly. I want to get this to right here for Connor McGovern. Keep him around starting. That's a lot of money we offered, and he's not willing to stick around. That's a little surprising. Honestly, that's a decent bit of cash that we offered him. David Edwards, I also would like to bring back as well. I want to keep our offensive line mostly intact. I don't want to have to deal with trying to build an offensive line back up here. And David Edwards is willing to stick around. I always see his name in free agency, so if we have to use the tag on Connor McGovern, I will do that. As we go through here, looking through all these guys, these are just kind of back-end roster guys, so they're not particularly important to bring back. We'll go find a punter in free agency. So I think we are going to franchise tag Connor McGovern. We'll see if we can work on bringing him back. $17 million. That's a little pricey, but I don't think there'll be a better option for the age. Accounting for age, accounting for everything else, I don't think there'll be a better option in free agency. There rarely isn't. I believe Elton Jenkins is one of the few decent centers in free agency. So we're going to tag Connor McGovern. That's going to eat up some cap, and that leaves us with $8.2 million. So that's not a lot, and we're probably not going to bring anyone else back here just because it's not going to happen. Trey White, not going to happen. Matt Milano, I suppose we could probably have just enough money to bring Matt Milano back if he's willing to take this. And he is. So there it is. Matt Milano, McGovern, and the other guy. I'm already blanking on his name, but brought him all back. So we have no money for free agency. We'll have to move some money around, I think, if we want to make something happen. But because we'll have to see what's in free agency before I really want to be sure if I want to, restructure some deals, create a little bit of cap space, just a little bit, to bring some guys back. So we have $1 million, and yeah, Bosa I just wasn't willing to bring back. Reader, Wilkins, he's on some freaky stuff. I don't know if that's a guy I want around my locker room. I don't know exactly what the hell he was doing, but the fact that no one signed him should tell you that he was doing something weird. So we definitely want to get better at receiver, right? That's something that you want to do. But you look around here, Romeo Doubs could be fun, but we don't have the money. And is there anyone here that I'm willing to break the bank for? Is there anyone here that I'm willing to go, you know what? Let's push $20-30 million worth of cap to next year to go and get. Right. Remember, that's not just free money when you restructure deals and things like that. You do have to eventually pay that. It's weird that his Romeo Dobbs' motivation. Well, maybe it would be. I don't know. I feel like they're doing the like their state motivations based off their college. I don't think Romeo Dobbs is from Nevada. I could be wrong on that. Let me go look that up. Romeo Dobbs is from LA, so maybe he does like warm weather. I don't know if he'd want to come to Buffalo, but I think Romeo Dobbs could be somewhat interesting. He's young, it's still room to develop. So we are going to go in here and we are going to restructure a deal or two. Is there anyone that we can restructure? We can't restructure Josh Allen. James Cook, I don't think that'd be enough money that's worth restructuring. Deion Dawkins, what could we push? That would free up around $8 million this year. Spencer Brown, we could restructure. So, again, pushing money to next year. The bill will be due. You always have to remember that, and you have to be mindful of that. You just can't go around willy-nilly restructuring deals as if it's free money. Ed Oliver, you could restructure that. That's another, and that's all we're gonna do, right? We can't go around. So that gives us $24 million to play with. So we can bring in like one guy, maybe two. We wanted to get better at edge, and we're not. We're probably going to be a little bit worse just because the money's not there. We're going to have to see if we can find someone in free agency or via trade. But I'm going to target Romeo Dobbs here. I think this is going to be the guy that we do want to go after. We're going to have to pay up. Granted, in the game, I feel like he's a little underrated. So we're going to go after Romeo Dobbs. See if he likes that deal. Saints are right there. We do have a franchise quarterback, so maybe that could sway it a little bit here. We're going to go take a look around at some other guys, though. For Joey Bosa, I'm just not doing. Josh Uche. Again, these are all guys who are just not very good. Preston Smith. I mean, that's just... We're going to have to find someone in the draft. Simple as that. And any strong safeties that we like here? Julian Blackman, Amani Hooker could be interesting, but Dane Belton could be interesting. 20, but we'll see in the draft. We do need a kicker, of course. Nick Folks, he is interested, but I think we'll try to go with Daniel Carlson here, 4-year deal for a kicker. And we're going to go through this first round of free agency. I'm going to try to be a little more in-depth with free agency. I don't know if we'll get Romeo Dobbs, but we'll see. And we did not get Romeo Dobbs, so that's kind of what I figured. We did free up some cash to make some things happen in other places, so... And Ike Mekwanu, that's a weird signing for the Packers. That actually makes no sense. They have Jordan Morgan, who might still be listed at guard, but they should not be signing another expensive tackle. Romeo Dobbs goes to the Saints. Figure that much. So I don't think we're going to be able to make anything happen there. And that's a little disappointing. But we do have money. Is there any way that we could offer Julian Phillips a contract? We did free up some cash. 3-year deal here for Julian Phillips. I don't know if he's that interested in us. We're at the top of his list. Can we get Julian Phillips? No, we cannot get Julian Phillips. We strike out on Julian Phillips. I don't need you sending me that notification. So we don't get that. Julian Phillips. Bosa goes back to the Chargers. So that's a little disappointing. Again, not getting what we want in free agency. I also don't know why it keeps acting like we don't have cap to pay guys. DJ Reader could be an option for us. It's a 1-year deal. Wish it would re-give me the cap that I have here. Okay, he's not interested. We're gonna take that offer off the table. Um, you know, what do we want to do here? This is really tough. This could be a nice little depth piece, Tommy, however the hell you pronounce that. That could be a depth piece right there. And we are going to go try to find another edge because we need one. Is it going to have to be Joshua Uche? I mean, it's going to have to be Joshua Uche. Just for a year. Just for a year. And then we will go back to receiver. Maybe there's something there we can find for relatively cheap. This is taking a lot longer than I thought it would take, but maybe there's someone in here who's young that we think we can maybe still make into a player. You never know. And I don't see anyone. So that might have to wait till the draft. Simple as that. Gonna have to wait till the draft. Let's see if we can sign those guys. We get Joshua Uche. Did that defensive tackle not sign with us? He did not sign with us. So we didn't get that other defensive tackle. Well, that sucks. What a bust of a free agency. All right, we have to take a swing here for the fences. This is really a move for this upcoming season, not necessarily multiple years after. It's going to be a 2027 first, a 2026 second, a 2027 fourth, and Dawson Knox to the Buccaneers for Mike Evans, for the services of Mike Evans. He's probably regressed a little bit, but it's a piece that we get this year that can help us potentially get this offense going and potentially get us to where we want to go, and that is to a Super Bowl. This team is in a different window than most teams that I normally kind of rebuild. So this is kind of a move for the next year or two to go try to win a Super Bowl with Josh Allen. Go give him that elite target in Mike Evans. Oh, and we actually did get Josh Uche, so I wasn't paying, I guess, that much attention. I guess he wasn't in the top 100, but we did get Josh Uche as well, so I think that's going to do it for our free agency / off season. Okay, so we are in the draft here. I've done some scouting, looked at a lot of these prospects. I have settled on likely us taking a safety here at pick number 26. I really didn't find anything I liked in free agency in terms of strong safety to replace the guy who retired. I don't know why I'm just blanking on the name, but we're going to see what is here. We've thought about going potentially with an edge guy. Just it feels like all the best edge players are gone at that point. And the strong safety that we're looking at here is going to be Nico Torres here out of Penn State. Looks pretty solid, actually. It does have a first-round true talent grade. B play rec, B man coverage, C finesse moves. I don't really care about that. C zone coverage, but everything else looks all right. So that's where we're going to go with Nico Torres here. There's another strong safety in this draft class that I actually thought about trading up for. But Nico Torres is still really good. Number 19 in true value. Drafted him at 26 and does have hidden dev anyways. So pretty decent pick. We do not pick again until the 3rd round, which again, that's why I really wanted to hammer that pick. The Eagles got the safety that I really wanted, but again, the trade for Mike Evans, we just didn't have the assets, I think, to realistically go and trade up and potentially go and, get him, to go get that other safety that we wanted. Is there anyone that I had on my favorites still on the board? And no, they are gone. So at this point, we're flying a little bit blind here, and we're going to have to find, something to, I think, improve this team. Now, we did trade Dawson Knox, so that does mean we probably need another tight end. But again, one of the things I always remember, I'm not going to be playing these games, right? So it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, we could go out here, and this tight end looks really fun, honestly. Scott Trout, I almost kind of want to take him. That would make Dalton Kincaid a little expendable for us. We are going to be crunched with cap here soon. We're going to take Scott Trout. He looks fun. Did I whiff on the pick? I maybe whiffed. He has 85 speed, though, 88 acceleration. Everything else looks kind of fun. Not a good pass blocker. I maybe whiffed on that, but there's no one else that I really liked, and I want to try to avoid doing the cheese with the defensive tackles. I feel like you can always just find these crazy defensive tackles. You can't find great corners. Is something that's a little annoying. Are any of these defensive there's a bunch of them here, just a log jam of them here. Are any of them good? We'll try to see if any of these guys are good, and the answer is really no. This is a rare, what is this, like a rare bad defensive tackle class? This one looks all right. B to D awareness, A play rec, which means he probably has B to C awareness, if I had to take a wild guess. He actually looks pretty decent. Lance McLeod. What is his... Everything here looks great. I didn't want to do the cheese, but we're going to find Lance McLeod here. He looks pretty awesome. Again, 69 in true value. Nice. Got him at 122, normal dev, but he looks all right as a player. You know, go to our next pick here in round number 5. And so far, our best pick is still the safety, which is... I mean, it was a need. We absolutely had to, I think, improve at safety. But, you know, I was hoping for some good receivers. This didn't look like a good receiver class. None of them really stood out to me. And, yeah, I mean, just no one here looks particularly good. Landon Vasher. Release is probably not very good. Again, none of them seem to test very well either. Catching traffic, 4.57. It's like probably like a 90 speed if I had to take a guess. This guy looks awful. 4.61. So that's not very good. Is there any linebackers we like here? The answer is going to be, I think, a resounding no. Good man coverage, I guess, but a resounding, I think, no. This guy looks all right, actually. His finesse moves aren't good. Pursuit's a C, but A and B in coverage. What are his... We're going to take a chance here on Terrence Spellman. We're just taking shots in the dark here, trying to see if we can find anything, because I feel like you kind of have to just take risks. Especially in a draft class I don't particularly like. And we don't pick again here till round number 7. And we'll make our selection. So I don't know if this was a great draft. Probably not. Still a round 3 to 4 guy here. But we just look around, see if we can find anything. And it feels like there's just a whole lot of nothing here. Alex Glass. Everything here looks not particularly great. So that's just not going to happen. Is this guy any good? No. Has F moves. That's not great. Is there a center? Let's take a... We're going to take a whatever shot on a center. Kurt Vickers here. F run block there. That's Spencer Duff. It's poor strength. That's not going to happen. Again, it's very tough at times because it just feels like these guys are not very good. So we have Skylar Steele, who looks pretty decent. We'll take a shot on Skylar Steele. And number 11 in true value, got him at 194. Hidden dev. Yes, he does have hidden dev. I mean, it's just, I feel like I have to play within the parameters here. You're always just going to end up with these sorts of guys, it feels like. But we get Skylar Steele, hidden dev, in the 7th round. So, and we have one more pick in this round. I think there was like another defensive tackle there that looked decent as well. So we will triple up on defensive tackles in this draft. You know, again, I feel like previous Maddens, it was corners that were always really cheesy. But in this game, it is the defensive tackles that are always popping up as pretty good. And a lot of it is just based on play rec and block shed. That's kind of what I look for. I think that's kind of what everyone should look for if you're kind of doing this. And does he have good physicals? He does have great acceleration and great strength. So we'll draft Delvin Flowers, ranked number 91 in true value, got him at 204, normal dev player. And that is going to do it for the draft for us. Okay, so draft recap. Nico Torres is a 75 overall, hidden dev. You like to see that. Actually, we'll go take a look at his stats a little bit further, or his ratings. And 74 zone coverage, 76 man coverage, play rec at a 70, but all in all, looks very good. A lot of potential there, so you do like to see that. Scott Trout is a 68 overall, so, you know, third round pick. I think that's honestly fine for where we drafted him. Was hoping for at least a dev trait. That's why you kind of, I think, take that swing. Lance McLeod, 72 overall, not too bad. Honestly, 293. He might convert to edge, honestly, at that size. I think that makes a little bit more sense for him. Spellman took a risk there in the 5th round, didn't really pay off. Skylar Steele, though, 76 overall, 350. What's that? What did I say? 353. That's a big boy right there. 92 strength, 78 block shedding, 76 play rec. That's awesome. He should immediately contribute for us, I think. And then Delvin Flowers as well. You know, might be a guy who never really progresses for us just because there will always be people ahead of him on the depth chart, but a good depth piece to have nonetheless. Let's go take a look at that other safety that I wanted for that the Eagles drafted. He is an 82 overall. Maybe would have been worth it to trade up, but we had to go get a receiver. We traded for Mike Evans, and I didn't really want to trade any more future draft capital. Definitely not for a safety. So just kind of stick and pick, get Torres, but the Eagles, they get a pretty cracked one there. 95 speed, 93 acceleration. He looks good. Yeah, I like cookies. We have 4 upgrade points for one, Keon Coleman. Did some off-season training camp drills with him, got gold, was able to get him up, get him a couple upgrade points. Again, one of the things I want to do with this rebuild is I want to see if I could turn around Keon Coleman's career. Can we make him a decent NFL player? Can we make him just a productive NFL player? That's what we want to be able to do here, I think, because it makes our job a lot easier putting this team together if we can actually do that with him, as opposed to not being able to do that with him. Route running is all decent here, and he has good release, so I feel like he should be able to put some stuff up. The 87 speed might make things a little tough, but Skylar Steele, we got 3 upgrade points with him. We did get gold on that drill, and we're gonna go with his pass rush abilities. I feel like that's the best thing to do with these defensive tackles, is to still focus on the pass rush stuff with them, as opposed to just focusing on nose tackle, because you'll still get block shedding and all that other good stuff with them. So he looks pretty good here. Getting those finesse moves, got to get those finesse moves up a little bit more. The Nico Torres, we also did a drill with him, and we were able to get gold on that one as well. And he's going to get 3 skill points. So not as good as Eric Long. But again, I can't complain because we just weren't in position to go and draft him because we went out and got Mike Evans. So you win some, you lose some, but up to a 77 overall should be productive in his career. And we have an upgrade here for one Josh Allen, and we will go with Field General. I don't know how many more upgrade points we will get for Josh Allen throughout his career. He is 30 now, so that might be a little bit tough to keep getting those with him, but either way, got this team, got some upgrade points for these guys, so hopefully that's enough to improve it. We'll see for the start of season number 1 of this rebuild. Okay, so the start of year number 1 of this rebuild, it's taken a long time for us to actually get here. This is the team, mostly the same as last year in terms of the offense. Dalton Kincaid, your tight end number 1. But then the big thing that is different here is Mike Evans. Brought him in. I think that is just a big swing, honestly, if we're being honest. That is a big swing here. Had to do something to get better for this season at that position, and it had to be Mike Evans. So, you know, had to give up some draft capital to get a 33-year-old receiver, but you had to do what you had to do. If you wanted to get better, we didn't have the cap space, and the free agent class just didn't work out for us there at receiver. So that's something we had to do. Here is the defense. Skylar Steele, already our DT number 2 and already vying for that number 1 spot. Corner room, not really where I necessarily want it to be, but again, free agency just kind of didn't work out for us. It is what it is. Edge didn't work out for us in free agency. It's just Gregory Rousseau and Josh Uche there off the edge. Still got Ed Oliver, Skylar Steele. Still got some talented guys here. And hopefully they can make something happen. I hope they can. And then for terms of the specialist, I will, again, looks pretty good here. Ed Oliver, still a really good player. 287. I'm not sure if I want that at my nose tackle. I think we're going to want big Skylar Steele to start at that nose tackle spot for us. Skylar Steele has the size at 353 pounds. I feel like he's just kind of a guy who's kind of made to be a nose tackle. That's your classic prototypical nose tackle, just a big man that will plug up holes. Granted, I know in Madden, size necessarily like that doesn't really matter. I think it should, but, hopefully Keon Coleman can have a good season, and hopefully we can, put something good here together for this Bills squad. But that's your team for year number 1 of this rebuild. We'll see how things are at the midseason mark. Am I going to have to go extreme and start changing playbooks? I hope I don't. I hope I can just keep the Bills playbook and actually have a good rebuild, but you never know with Madden. All right, midseason mark, and we are 5-1. And we'll take a look here at these stats. How are we doing? Josh Allen, 1,500 yards, 18 touchdowns to 2 interceptions so far on the season. James Cook, pretty good, 420, 4 touchdowns. How are we doing receiving-wise? And it's Khalil Shakir leading the way in terms of yardage. But Mike Evans with 7 touchdowns on the season. Dalton Kincaid, pretty good stuff right here. And Keon Coleman, Cookies, 272 yards, 22 receptions, and 4 receiving touchdowns. James Cook as well. So I do like seeing that. Interesting to see the Bills playbook does seem to utilize the tight end a little bit more than I've seen with other playbooks. But Shakir doing very well as well. And then defensively, how are we doing? And it's not particularly great. Nothing really to write home about. No one's like going crazy in terms of getting to the quarterback, but everyone's just doing fine enough, and no turnovers so far. That's a little interesting. I don't think I've ever gone this far without getting a interception in a sim rebuild so far, but hey, we're 5-1. We're coming off our first loss of the season to the Ravens. Now we got to take on the 3-4 Chiefs, but either way, we're looking pretty good for making the playoffs right now. I will see you to see if we do make those playoffs, but I hope we do, because that would be nice. Also, the Texans are 1-6. Okay, 14-3. We are the number 1 seed in all of the AFC, so maybe moving on from Sean McDermott was the right move. We'll go take a look at the stats in a second here, but we got some upgrades to get here. Skylar Steele, 5 upgrade points here. You love to see it, and we're going to try to focus these on these pass rush moves here. I feel like I have seen these guys, these offensive tackles, get really good once you really focus on these. They usually always stay a scheme fit. Nose tackle, if they kind of started as that. So we're going to try to get his pass rush moves pretty evened out here, I think. And I think that should help him. And then we'll go with power rusher here for this last one. So he's going to be up to an 84 overall. You love to see that. Hopefully he's had a good rookie season, but everything looking pretty good here. Those upgrade points really helping. We'll go focus on Nico Torres here and see if we can get him to be a scheme fit as well. Our first round pick, and up to an 80 overall right now. One more upgrade point here to go. And he does get up to a scheme fit. So you love to see that as well. And there we go. So hopefully he got an interception or something somewhere along the way. Then Cole Bishop, course, just going to go with double up on this right here. Play rec, and up to an 83 overall for him, or still an 83 overall. I think he already was one, not 100% sure. Already forgot that quickly. Keon Coleman, 2 upgrade points here. Going to still go with Playmaker, because I feel like that usually gives some of the better upgrades, even though it feels like the more you upgrade Playmaker, the more they become like a physical. Very odd there, but still going to go with Playmaker, get that route running up for him, and you get ball carrier vision. I don't know what that does for receivers, honestly, but +2 deep route, +1 medium route, and +2 awareness. You always like seeing an awareness upgrade, and yeah, pretty good stuff right there. 87 speed, that's not great, but also I'm not using him, so. But we are up to an 89 overall, 91 overall offense, 89 overall defense as we head into the playoffs. Take a look here at the stats and awards, and Josh Allen, 40 touchdowns to 6 interceptions, 4,300 yards. Really good season here. 1,300 yard season for James Cook. You love to see that. And then Mike Evans, another 1,000 yard receiving for season for him as he gets 1,300 yards, 14 touchdowns. Shakir fall off a little bit there, but still some good stuff from Kincaid. This may be the best season I've seen with a tight end, so I'll have to remember Bill's playbook. We have like a great tight end to get that production. Keon Coleman, not 1,000 yards, but still 761 yards, 10 touchdowns. I mean, that's what he's actually put up in real life. I mean, you would absolutely take a 54 reception, almost 800 yard receiving season, and 10 touchdowns. If you're a Bills fan, you would 100% take that from Keon Coleman. In terms of sacks, what happened? Gregory Rousseau kind of turned it on second half of the season as he adds on about 10.5 sacks there. And then 7 for Skylar Steele. Uche with 6. Productive season. Milano with 3. And then not much else to write home about in terms of really anyone else. You know, we also have Nico Torres getting a sack, so you do like to see that. And someone, boy, Matt Milano, second half of the season, just turned it on with the interceptions. He gets up to 5 of them right there. Then you got 2 for Teron Johnson, Terrell Bernard with 1, and Joe Andres with 1 as well. Hope I said that guy's name right. But either way, who are we taking on in the playoffs? Let's go take a look here. Who are we playing? Who are we playing in the divisional round? And it's going to be the Jacksonville Jaguars, a rematch from last year's playoffs. I believe that took place in the wild card round, takes place a round later. The Jaguars, 9-8 record. I'm going to assume they got through. They beat a higher seed than them. They must have, yes. So they're a wild card team. They did not win their division. Let's do the weekly strategy stuff here real quick. Have all that stuff done. And then we will simulate this game, see if we win, see if we are moving on to the AFC Championship game or not. Some more upgrades to do right here. And Keon Coleman, another upgrade point. I will absolutely take that. We'll keep trying to go with Playmaker. Again, they're good upgrades. I mean, but it's great for everything else except its own archetype. That's very fascinating thing that I've noticed. And then Taylor Rapp going to get an upgrade as well. Probably thought we should have not drafted that safety and made him the starter, but he's 28. That's not going to happen. So let's see. Do we beat the Jaguars here? 14-3, 9-8. We're way better than them. We should beat them. Let's see what happens here, or is it another early exit for? It's another early exit for Josh Allen in the playoffs. 31-28, losing to the 9-8 Jaguars at home. So it's off to the offseason yet again for Josh Allen. Well, the Jaguars end up going all the way to the Super Bowl, but they end up losing to the Seahawks, who go back to back here in this rebuild. I usually see the Seahawks fall off pretty quickly, but this one, they end up going back-to-back. Maybe Sam Darnold got a bunch of upgrades or something this most recent, newest week they added. I don't know, but it's time for us to figure out what we can do to get this team over the hump and get to a Super Bowl and try to win it. So here we are, having to restructure some contracts. Josh Allen, that'll open up $21 million in cap. James Cook, that'll open up some more cap. And Greg Rousseau, that'll open up some cap as well. That gives us some space to re-sign some players. Now, the real question is, who and what are we re-signing? Curtis Samuel, that's not going to happen. Dorian Williams, I would actually like to keep. We do have Matt Milano there, but he is a little bit older, and so if I can again lock in a good young player, I'm willing to do that. Now we look around here. Now, offensive linemen again coming up. Gonna want to bring these guys back, in my opinion. I do not want to have to go out into free agency and try to re-sign these guys. I feel like that'd be not a very good thing. I am willing to pay them a decent bit of money to keep them around, and they're just not willing to. I don't know. I think these, I don't, my issue with these motivations, I feel, it feels like they're kind of one-sided. I feel like these motivations really only work in one direction, and that's against the user. I feel like, I don't know. It's really weird. I just feel like I don't see them affecting the CPU as much, because they'll say, oh, these are my motivations. And then they will sign free agent contracts, not only for less money, they will go out and sign free agent contracts for places that don't even meet their motivations. So they'll sign for less money and against their own motivations, which makes no sense to me. So we are being able to bring back McGovern, could not bring back Osias Torrance. That's a little disappointing. I'm not going to re-sign him, because there's a chance that, you know what, maybe there's someone in free agency that is a little bit better that we can go and sign. That's going to be my logic with that. We freed up the money to try to make that happen. We're going to have to see what's in free agency at that guard position. I swear, Marlon Humphrey is always here. Is he just that much of an asshole? No one wants him around? Aaron Brewer's here. Looking through here. I would love to have brought back Osias Torrance. I feel like he's actually very good. I feel like he doesn't get that much respect in the game in Madden. But I feel like he's very good. I would like to keep him around, but we could potentially bring in Tyler Steen, and he's about the same player for, honestly, a decent amount cheaper. And I'm willing to do that. If we can bring in a player comparable skill and is about the same age, but just a couple $1,000,000 cheaper than what we were offering, I am more than willing to do that. Boy, there is no good middle linebackers. Drew Tranquil's here. He's always a free agent, it feels like, though. And we did not bring back Josh Uche. He did play well for us. But we're looking around here. What do we want to do? Yaya Diaby, that could be interesting. Do we have the money to bring in Yaya Diaby? We would just barely have enough money to do that. So that would be all our money right there. It would be a new starting guard and Tyler Steen. Tyler Steen and Yaya Diaby. Are they interested? Do we get both of them? We get both of them. We get Yaya Diaby and we get Tyler Steen right there. So an improvement at edge. We get a little bit better. I am willing to spend a free agency if we can get better, and we do get better with Yaya Diaby, get him from the rest of his prime, and we get Tyler Steen right there. So kind of a comparable player to Osias Torrance, at least in Madden. So on to the draft, because we have no money. And I forgot to mention, Mike Evans did retire. Probably disappointed he couldn't win another Super Bowl. We'll have to find another receiver in the draft. There was really no good receivers in free agency that I thought could really help. I mean, Rashee Rice, yeah, but I kind of don't want to spend a ton of money, almost $30 million a year on Rashee Rice. We didn't have the money to do that. So it's kind of why we did not do that. Parker Washington could be an interesting signing. We don't have the money to bring him in. And I don't know if there's any way we can shed any more cap that doesn't involve me pushing money to further down. I kind of don't want to be constantly doing that because eventually it gets to be too much. So it might be a situation where, again, we're going to have to find a trade. Yeah, I mean, Dalton Kincaid is going to be a free agent. We maybe don't have the money to re-sign him. He is superstar. He is very good. Is there anything out there? No, not really. Deion Dawkins is a free agent coming up here. So that's, again, there's only so much money that we can push off. We still have Spencer Brown for 2 more years before we even have to think about that. Ed Oliver could be a guy that we could find something here, out here in the market. Can we go shop Ed Oliver and a pick and maybe try to get a receiver that way? We're gonna have to we don't have a first round pick, and I don't want to be in the constant thing of I'm willing to trade 2s. Can we trade 2 2s along with Ed Oliver? And can we go out here and find a receiver? Jaden Higgins. I don't know if I want Jaden Higgins. Can we go and find someone? Can we find a receiver out there? That's what we got to find. Because we need another one. Marvin Harrison Jr., he's a free agent. I definitely want to find someone who has some years left. So look at the Cardinals. They have some guys ahead of Michael Wilson. I like Michael Wilson. 27 years old, but he has this year, next year. That fits our timeline. That would put the other team over the salary cap. All right. We got to find someone that's like at least $3 million that they don't necessarily want. Let's see, someone lower end guy that's not too weird. So, I'm giving you a defensive tackle. How about you give me a defensive tackle? Will that just be enough? I'm giving you 2 2s, 2 future 2s, Ed Oliver. You have receivers ahead of Michael Wilson. We need another receiver. I'm not willing to do it in the draft necessarily. These are 2 future 2s, and they do accept that trade. We didn't have to trade any 1s. It is 2 future 2s and Ed Oliver, but we have depth at defensive tackle, which makes Ed Oliver expendable. And we get Michael Wilson in here. So there we go. We solve an issue. There we go. All right, we're also going to sign Carrington Valentine, add some corner depth. I feel like the Sim engine likes corner depth for whatever reason. So we'll add some with him. All right, so we're up on the draft here. We do have some future potential free agents at tackle, particularly left tackle. Deion Dawkins up there in age. We do have to think about a potential replacement right there, and that replacement might be Andrew Way, left tackle, projected to go in the 2nd to 3rd round potentially. So we may have to keep an eye on that. If he's there at the start of the 2nd round, I think that's someone that we will try to target. All right, Andrew Way off the board. I tried stopping it as it was simulating through, and maybe I should just did that myself, but game would not let me. Very annoying. So we're looking around here. What do we want to do? And there is some decent edge players right here. Morgan Berger. But we did just bring in Yaya Diaby, so I feel like we're kind of fine right there. So we don't necessarily need to do that. We do need to focus, I think, on tackle, and there's really nothing left there. Kind of barren, for being honest, so that's not going to work for us, brother. Any left guards? Maybe? Potentially. This one actually looks not bad. The C to F always scares you with some of these guys. This guy actually looks not bad. 312 pounds. He actually looks pretty good. I don't think we need any more guards, though. Let me pause the draft here. Look at our roster real quick. Again, I don't think we need any guards. We have David Edwards. And we just signed Tyler Steen. How many years is left on David Edwards' contract? I did not want to edit the player. Did not want to. Well, actually, we can look at his contract from here. He has a couple years left here on the deal. I didn't make any changes. I'm not sure why it's asking me that. Okay, so we'll go back into the draft. What do we want to do? There's some tight ends here. And I know you're thinking, Mike, you just drafted a tight end last year. You just reached on one. Why would you do this to yourself again? Well, we're going to be dealing with money issues. Dalton Kincaid could be a trade piece, potentially. That's what I have to think about. And Tommy Sherman looks pretty good. Elite strength, great speed. He can block, it looks like. Good route running. Just good route running. Good. But good run block. I'm going to assume his run block, he has good strength. I'm assuming his run block power at best is like a C. I feel like it probably is that. We're going to go with Tommy Sherman. We're going to go with this tight end. I feel like you just keep trying here. This playbook seems to like good tight ends. And Tommy Sherman's going to be the pick. And he has hidden dev. Again, Dalton Kincaid is really good, but we're going to be up on money issues. I had to pivot plans, right? The plan was to go out here, maybe draft a future left tackle. That didn't work out too well. So we take another tight end. I enjoyed drafting tight ends. I feel like we always find some pretty good ones in these rebuilds. And Tommy Sherman, I think, joins that class of good tight ends. So that's what we're going to go with. Is there any good corners here? And the answer feels like no. The answer feels like all these guys stink. None of them look good. This guy looks okay. Ben Murphy. We're not going to take him right now. What are his physicals? His physicals stink. So that's not going to happen. Linebackers. No one good here. No one good at all. Quincy. No, he doesn't look very good either. Defensive tackle. Again, there's always good defensive tackles, but we just acquired some, so we don't need to do that. Edge. No one good. Day 3 guys. Maybe we'll draft a couple of them. See if any of them are any good. But yeah, there's a round 3 to 4 guy here. There's a power rusher. I feel like these guys never progress. Also has F block shedding. So that's just going to be a no right there. There's really just nothing here that I like. I feel like we might just have to take a shot on one of these tackles that's still here. And I think it's going to have to be, at the very least, Shane Conover. I think we'll take a shot on this guy. He has some good physicals, elite speed. We'll see. I don't know. And he's yeah, that's just not a good player. I don't get why they still show you the ranges here. I just drafted them. Just show me the actual rating so I know what the hell I just drafted. Yeah. And we don't have any picks again until the 5th round, so not the best draft. I mean, honestly, it just felt like what we needed kind of just wasn't available to us. We weren't able to move up. Again, we just traded some picks to get a receiver again, so we're kind of put ourselves back where we were last season. But kind of had to make that move. We are going to look for another receiver here in the draft, if any of them are good. Because the answer might be none of these guys are good. This guy has good release. Spec catch, that's all right. His route running isn't great. And solid speed. Good strength. Spec catch is a B. B release. Take a shot on Oscar Irving here. And it's an okay pick. Does have hidden dev. So there's a positive in the draft at the very least. Actually, I think the tight end's pretty good too. So we're going to let the CPU handle the rest of the draft here. And we're going to take a look at this draft recap, kind of see what it all entails for us. How bad was that tackle that we took is kind of what I'm interested in seeing. Because he might stink. But yeah, he's a 65 overall. Could be a guy that could develop, but nothing too special there. But Tommy Sherman, I like 73 overall. Yeah, I mean, route running needs work for sure, but spec catches a 75, 86 acceleration, 85 speed, does have hidden dev. If it's any higher than star, that is great. If it's not, then that's not as good, obviously. They took a quarterback here, doesn't have hidden dev, but we could develop him and trade him. Teams always like quarterbacks. So Oscar Irving, 67 overall. What's bringing his ratings down? Route running looks for a rookie. It's all right for as late as we got him. 231 pounds. That's a big guy. He moves pretty quick for 90 speed, 91 acceleration, 6'2", 231 pounds. This would be a fun player to, I think, try to develop if I was actually playing the games. So I'm trying to see what's bringing his rating down so much. And maybe it's just the route running. Am I like blind? Am I not seeing his awareness rating anywhere? Am I like losing my mind? I do not see his awareness rating anywhere. Where is his awareness rating? I'm sure someone's screaming at the screen. They see it. Are they not showing me his awareness? They're legitimately not showing me his awareness. His is a 58. Okay, so that's what's bringing him down is awareness, clearly. Xavier Hatchett, he has pretty low awareness as well, and that's probably bringing him down. There's something here. We can maybe develop this guy and look to trade him. So I think we'll do that with him. It's an okay draft. It's a draft. Nothing great, nothing special so far, but we did better last year with the defensive tackles. And that tackle we wanted was a 77 overall with a hidden dev. Again, just on a position to trade up into the first round to go nab him because we just traded a bunch of second round picks. So you get in this position where you have to trade picks for guys. Then you get in the draft. You don't have the ammunition, I think, to go out and make a trade here. And I didn't want to trade a future one at all to do that. So yeah. That sucks. All right, so we're back. Year number 2 of the rebuild. I think our receiving core overall is a lot better. Well, not a lot better. I mean, losing Mike Evans does suck, but I think it's pretty good. Keon Coleman is progressing pretty well. Shakir, Michael Wilson, I think is a nice addition to this team. We do have that tight end that we drafted. We're not sure what he'll do, but not much because usually Kincaid will get all of these snaps. But here is the defense. It's basically the same as last season, except we do have Carrington Valentine here. Yaya Diaby, so I do think we get a lot better off the edge, at least on the right edge side. Steele is defensive tackle number 1, and I think we're still pretty good here on the defensive line. A lot of depth here, some good players, TJ Sanders as well, so I do like seeing that. Good depth at linebacker, so we're good there. This team should be pretty good, honestly, I think. I don't see why it would fall off that much. I don't think it should fall off that much. I think this team should be good. We should be able to still compete in the AFC. We're an 89 overall, 91 overall offense, 87 overall defense, with still a lot of room to grow. So I will see you at the midseason mark. All right, midseason mark again for year number 2 of this rebuild. We are 6-1, so again, having some success here, at least in the regular season. Josh Allen, 16 touchdowns to 3 interceptions, 1,700 yards. And James Cook putting up some pretty good numbers actually here. 623 yards, 5 touchdowns. The receiving core, Keon Coleman, first season as the number 1 receiver, putting up some good numbers here on his way to potentially a 1,000-yard season, first time in his career. Michael Wilson, 481 yards. Shakir Kincaid, not a ton of production, but Tommy Sherman playing pretty well as well. We did re-sign Kincaid. I thought it was a relatively cheap-ish deal, but did decide to bring him back. And Yeah, defensively, how are we doing? Are we getting after the quarterback? And Gregory Rousseau, 4 sacks so far in the season. Yaya Diaby, 3.5, 2.5 for Skylar Steele. And nothing too crazy from anyone else. Midseason mark, ton of interceptions. So I do like to see that. Did not see that last year, but this team came on really hard in the second half of the season. So we'll see how we'll do here. And yeah, I'll see you for the playoffs, which I assume we'll make. Can never be too sure. Looks like the AFC East is kind of back hot on our trail here with the Patriots and Jets both doing pretty well. We go 16-1. So clearly the class of the field in the AFC, this feels like this has to be the year that we get these guys into, at the very least, the AFC Championship game again. I mean, we're doing quite well here. I think we've kept the team pretty good despite having to navigate some somewhat difficult cap situations. But we do have a bunch of players here probably to upgrade, and TJ Sanders leads the way with 3. So I do like seeing that. Maybe he's had a pretty good season. We'll have to go take a look. I didn't notice too much TJ Sanders in those stats that we looked at for the midseason mark, but you never know. Maybe, just maybe, he maybe turned it on in the second half. That does seem to happen every now and then, but he's progressing very nicely here. Tommy Sherman almost makes me wonder, should I not have brought back Dalton Kincaid? I did say that's the reason kind of why I drafted him, but I thought the contract would just be bigger for Kincaid, and it really wasn't. So maybe we can have Kincaid here for a little bit and then maybe kind of shop him if we have to, but I'd rather not have to do that. But yeah, up to an 80 overall for Sherman. I do like to see that. Oscar Irving, receiver that we took in the draft somewhat late, he's progressing pretty nicely. Does make me wonder what his dev trait is. +1 awareness. We know he needs help with that. You know, I don't know. Maybe he can't read or something. I don't know. +3 awareness. And then we'll go with that as well. Up to a 76. So some pretty big upgrades here for Oscar Irving. +2 awareness again. Only played 1 down, clearly. But yeah, awareness just isn't even showing up on here. Maybe that's how low it is for him. I don't know, but it was in the 50s when we drafted him, and it went up pretty high, actually. Or not high, but it went pretty well. Shane Conover, the tackle that we drafted pretty late, is up to a 70 overall. We'll probably get him up to a 71 here with 1 more upgrade, and he does get up there. No clue if he'll be a starter for us at any point in this rebuild. But, you know, you never know. Could happen, could not. Josh Allen does get another upgrade, and we do need to keep upgrading him because now he is going to start regressing a little bit. I do feel like quarterback regression maybe shouldn't kick in to like these guys' age 34 season. I think that would be a little bit better, but I could be wrong on that. I'm not sure how you guys feel about that. I think maybe have that kick in a little bit later. Let's go get Michael Wilson and some upgrades here. We'll just go with physical for him. Not sure what numbers he put up. We're gonna go see. Hopefully it's some good stuff. We did give up a decent amount of draft picks for him. You know, but if it's good, it's good, right? Keon Coleman, I don't think we got to a re-signing with him. I could be wrong. I think we decided to take that into the, we'll see if we can re-sign him in the offseason, but he is progressing pretty nicely for us. Getting some good release upgrades. Has not gotten a speed upgrade at all. Granted, since we're simming, I don't think that necessarily matters whether or not we were able to do that. We did re-sign Cole Bishop, but we go 16-1 in the regular season. Stats and awards. Josh Allen, 4,600 yards, 44 touchdowns to 8 interceptions. Really a great season. 1,300 yards here for James Cook. 13 touchdowns. Great season for him as well. Receiving wise, Keon Coleman, 1,200 yards. Michael Wilson, 1,200 yards. Khalil Shakir, almost 1,000 yards. Dalton Kincaid, 619. Rey Mysterio, yards. James Cook, really good season. Tommy Sherman, I'd say this playbook does seem to really utilize tight ends a decent bit, more so than I've seen with any other playbook. I don't think we've ever really had one where we've seen 3 tight ends get a decent amount of targets. So I guess if you're using the Bills playbook, I guess drafting tight ends is the move. But either way, really good offensive season here. And then in terms of the sack production, Gregory Rousseau with 12. Yaya Diaby, 8.5. 8.5 for Skylar Steele. TJ Sanders, 5.5. So he turned it up at some point in the season. Matt Milano, the ageless wonder, still playing very well at his age. And again, nothing too crazy with interceptions this time around. So there is that. So we're going to go on and see who we're playing in the divisional round. All right, so AFC divisional round taking on the 9-8 Baltimore Ravens. Let's see if Josh Allen and this Bills team, home playoff game, 16-1, best record in the AFC, can they get past the divisional round this time around? We're going to see, can they do it? Can they do it? And they do. They beat them. They beat the Ravens 35-23. So we move on. Take on the Patriots. Drake May, 10-7. Drake May probably trying to get back to the Super Bowl. Doesn't want to, have his only taste of the Super Bowl be getting there and losing. Well, we want to win the Super Bowl ourselves. We want to get Josh Allen just to get to a Super Bowl here at age 31. It's now or never, really, is what it feels like for Josh Allen and this Bills squad. Great players. We have re-signed where we could, but, a lot of these offensive linemen, are particularly Deion Dawkins, getting up there in age. Don't know how much longer we're going to have them. Can we go beat the Patriots? Home playoff game, Highmark Stadium. Can we beat the Patriots? We're going to jump in and see if we can. All right, AFC Championship game. It is 35-28. They're going for an onside kick. We will come in the game, see if we can make this happen. Can we get the onside kick? 35-28. We jump on this. And I have to recover it myself. That's fine. I'll do that. But either way, it doesn't matter. We jump on it. 35-28 is going to be your final here. The Bills are moving on to the Super Bowl with Josh Allen, and they do it beating the Patriots. That probably has to feel really good if you're a Bills fan. That would probably feel great if you're a Bills fan in real life. But let's see who we're playing in the Super Bowl. Hopefully not the Seahawks. All right, we have made the Super Bowl, and it is going to be the Buffalo Bills taking on the Green Bay Packers, the 2 smallest markets in the NFL, doing battle in the biggest game in, I think, American sports, right? So this is a really interesting matchup, honestly, I think, in real life. I think Packers, Bills, I think that'd be pretty big. Granted, you'd probably have some shitheads on ESPN complaining about it because it's not like an LA and New York team, but you know what? Screw the dummies over at ESPN and the national media. This would be a pretty good matchup, honestly, I think, in real life. So let's go see if we can finally get the Bills a Super Bowl and finally get Josh Allen that ring. All right, we are here, Super Bowl 27-17, we're up 10 points versus this Packers team. We are just going to kind of let this thing ride out here and see if they can put on some more points. Doesn't even matter. We do not. We beat the Packers 27-17, and the Buffalo Bills are finally Super Bowl champions. Josh Allen is finally a Super Bowl champion. And we still got 2 more years of this rebuild to go. See if we can try to stack some more up here. It's going to get tough. We got some aging players, aging defensive players, aging linemen that we're going to have to deal with here. So it's going to be really tough to try to do here in the NFL the way it's kind of always is. It's tough to get here. It's tough to get back here. It's tough to repeat. But I think we have the quarterback, and I think we have the offensive weapons that we can potentially make it happen. So let's see if we can make it happen. So I mentioned why that was such an important shot for us to get to that Super Bowl. Matt Milano, Deion Dawkins both call it a career. Great careers. They go out on top, winning a Super Bowl with the Bills. But again, that's why it was so important for us to get to a Super Bowl here in these first few years of this rebuild, because you're going to have guys starting to retire. So Dawkins retires. We are going to have to figure out a replacement there at left tackle. All right, so we have some re-signings we do need to do, and one of those is Cookies, Keon Coleman. He has developed for us, so we're going to reward that with a contract extension. Big money deal. He's shown out. He's showed up and played very well, so it's money well earned for him. Darius Robinson, probably not going to re-sign just because there's better guys ahead of him on the depth chart, and he could probably go sign somewhere else, 1-year deal, and make some money. Everyone else, we're actually not going to be bringing back Brandon Main. Is he interested in coming back? These punters are so fickle. All right, he's back. So the next 2 years. So we pushed more money to 2030. I don't think we're going to be playing in free agency. Cannot afford to put any more contracts onto this team right now. It's going to have to be drafting. We're going to have to do it via draft. And we'll take a quick look, though. And again, we do need to replace our left tackle spot. 100% we need to do that. Just, we don't have the money, right? It would be probably financially irresponsible for us to go out here and sign someone. We're going to have to try to find someone, I think, in the draft. Ikikwanu could be an interesting signing. We just barely have enough money to potentially pull that off, but we're not. It just doesn't make financial sense for us to do that. Braden Smith, that could be interesting for like a year or so. Taylor Moton could be good for like a year. If we want to take a right tackle and move him over to left tackle. You could do that in the game. Again, not exactly sure how realistic it is for some of these guys. I know Yosh Nyman played. He's a 6'10" overall. That's gonna happen. I know he has played left tackle before for the Packers way back. So Therese Knight, that could be an interesting signing. I keep always signing him. Drake Greenlaw. We don't need that, and we're pretty good at linebacker, even though we do run. Actually, Isaiah McDuffie, that could be a fun signing. Relatively cheap too. And yeah, we'll see. Isaiah McDuffie, he wants to come play for us. More than willing to do that. We probably do need a spare corner. Taron Johnson, up there in age now, and wants to be paid accordingly just because he's a bit older. And Watson will try to sign as well, just for a 1-year deal. Just, for the depth of the position. Willing to do that. Isaiah McDuffie, we're in there. We'll see if we can get him. It's not make or break if we don't get Isaiah McDuffie. And we do get Isaiah McDuffie. There we go. So, McDuffie, Jalen Watson, both kind of depth guys. I'll take it. On to the draft. Okay, so it's not a free agent move or anything like that, but Spencer Brown's going to have to move the left tackle. The reason being is I don't think we're going to be in position to go out and get ourselves one of these tackles. I'll have to do some private scouting, of course, but we're just not going to be in position to get any of the tackles that we actually want here. They have us taking Ramon Escobar here at 32. Not sure if I will, but yeah, I mean, all the tackles basically go off here at 21, and we just don't have the picks, again, to swing a trade and jump up that I'm willing to do. We're in a Super Bowl window. Yes, I understand that, but I just don't think we can swing trading up what we need to trade up to get here. Also, doesn't help that a lot of these teams are just kind of not interested in trading with us right now. They have issues with the cap. The Broncos are going to take a quarterback. Let's go see what Bo Nix's ratings are, actually. Maybe we can swing a trade with the Broncos. I don't think so. When I say that, I mean, what is Bo Nix looking at? He is a 85, so I'm not sure why they would take a quarterback right there. And also, everyone's cap is kind of screwed up, so Spencer Brown gonna have to play at left tackle for us. We're not gonna be able to draft one of those guys, so that does kind of suck a little bit, but it is what it is. I'm not willing to kind of compromise our draft anymore. I mean, we don't have a pick in this. We're kind of down a couple second round picks for the Michael Wilson trade, but so I just can't justify trading any more picks right now. All right, 2028 draft here. Let's sim to our first round pick. Haven't had one in a little bit here, so let's see what we can find in this draft and kind of what's out there for us. And again, we looked around a lot, could not find any corners that we liked. Ramon Escobar is around 2 to 3 talent. That's kind of what they have us projected to take in these mock drafts. And I am going to buck that because we are not taking Ramon Escobar. We're going to go with Brad Giles here. Looks pretty good. B block shedding, A zone coverage, B tackle, C pursuit, elite jumping. Looks like a pretty good athlete, and skills in general look pretty good, actually. Coverage skills look good. Play rec looks good. Awareness is good. Really good hit power. And, yeah, so looks really good. Finesse moves is a C. His power moves are an A, so you do like to see that. So Brad Giles is going to be the pick here. He is ranked 29 in true value, got him at 32. Only a normal dev, so that is a little disappointing to see, but also I love this thing here. Our strongest position is our O-line, yet our weakest is tight end. Or I would say tight end might be our strongest position, so I'm not sure what that's all about, but we do not pick again until pick number 32 in the draft, in the third round, which is, that's a very long way to wait when you are the Super Bowl champions, but that's just kind of what it is, you know? That's, it's one of the downsides to winning the Super Bowl is that you are going to be waiting a long time to make picks, and we looked around at some of these guys. These were guys that we looked at early in the season. Maybe some of them could be good. Ben Morse, he has A awareness, but his run blocking stuff is just not very good. But we do have to just take a shot here. We've been doing that a lot in these drafts. We got to take a shot at left tackle at some point here. He's 173, normal dev, so that's a little disappointing. But again, had to take a shot at a left tackle at some point in this draft, and we did. So, gonna come back again here, look around what's in here, and maybe there's some corners we can look at. You never know, and not much here again. I just say I feel like it's very difficult to find great corners in these drafts, unless they're like, you know, kind of like the obvious top 5 guys. I feel like that's kind of when you see those guys. Defensive tackle, we're mostly fine there. We don't need to go out here and get any more. I don't think we do, so I think we're pretty good here. Again, you never know. You can always find someone late, but this is like one of the rare defensive tackle classes that isn't particularly great. Normally they're really good, but this one doesn't look all that great for defensive tackles, which is, again, kind of rare. Look around again here at some tackles, and lots of guys that can, you know, pass block, but they're not particularly great run blockers. And the run game is important to our success, obviously, with James Cook. But at this point, again, might be another situation where we just have to nab a guy and just maybe hope there's something special there. I mean, none of these guys, they don't look particularly great. It's been some pretty weird drafts, it feels like. It feels like we haven't been in position necessarily to get anyone particularly great at times. Our best pick might be a backup tight end, honestly. Safety has been pretty good, but we just haven't had the ability, the time. We haven't been in position, I think, to kind of get who we want, because we've had to make trades for other guys. So receiver, we don't necessarily need receiver. We're pretty well set at receiver, so and none of them look all that good. Running back, we don't need. This one looks maybe all right. We'll see what he's a power back though. So yeah, I don't know. I think we are going to trade out of this pick and get some picks. Maybe someone has something for 2029 they want to give us. And they want to give us a 2029 fifth. We had a couple teams trying to give us 2029 fifths. I do like the idea of that. Get some picks in 2029. Maybe build up some ability to make some moves and trade around next year, because we need to get some assets here back. So I think that's what we're going to do here. We're going to trade back in the 5th round, and then we're probably going to trade out of this 6th round spot as well. I think that is what we're also going to do. Maybe we can get something for 2029 as well. Is there anything that anyone wants to give us that's any significant? And we don't want anything in 2028. We want 2029 or 2030. That's what we want. And yeah, I think we will take the 2029. Someone had a 6 they were giving us. The Raiders. We'll take the 2029 6 from the Raiders. And we will skip ahead in the draft to the next user pick, which will be Mr. Irrelevant. I think in real life, this gets like picked for you, right? I'm not 100% sure on that, but we'll see. Is there anyone here that's like that's worth taking? Do we just take another shot in the dark on another one of these tackles? He looks terrible. Clay Weeks does not look very good. This Deshaun Goldsberry looks terrible. Yeah. We'll take a look at all these left tackles. We'll take one more left tackle just for the fun of it. And Clay Weeks, it does not look very good. This guy doesn't look very good. None of these guys look very good. We'll take Shane Winters. 6'5", 338. 263. He is not very good. 89 strength, though. So, that is the draft. I don't think it was a good draft for us, really. I mean, we only made 4 picks. Brad Giles was the best pick at a 74 overall. And then Ben Morse, 66 overall. Jerry Hartman, 66 overall. And Shane Winters, a 64 overall. So just trying to find something at tackle, and that's worth taking. And I really couldn't find anything. Okay, we are back. Year number 3 of this rebuild. Here to defend our Super Bowl crown. And Josh Allen, 96 overall. Conover, the guy we drafted a few seasons ago, or at least last season, up to a 74 overall. We're going to stick him at right tackle. I think he should hold it pretty well over there. Spencer Brown at left tackle. Offensive line room, still really good. Tight end room, great still. Oscar Irving has really developed. He's come along pretty nicely, up to an 84 overall. Does actually make one of our other receivers somewhat expendable, whether that is Shakir or Wilson. It might be Shakir. He's up there in age, a little bit older than Wilson and everyone else. So could be something we could look into doing, just not this season. We don't have to this season. Defense looks pretty good, honestly. Corner room looking pretty good here as well. Nice depth to it. Defensive tackle room is pretty awesome. Skylar Steele up to a 91 overall. So you do like to see that. So everything looks pretty good here. Defense looks good. And I think we are ready to go. And I think we're going to let Oscar Irving cook in the slot this year. We'll see what that does for Wilson's numbers. But we're going to let Irving cook in the slot. And actually, one thing I should mention is this is actually pretty cool. We have developed 2 backup quarterbacks. One of them, Xavier Hatchett, we have developed up to a 77 overall. So might be a guy we might keep developing. that could be a trade piece for us here, actually, as we go throughout this rebuild here, these last 2 seasons. So, year 3, we are going to go straight to the playoffs. I'll see you there. I feel confident that we should make them, but you never know. Okay. So no bye week for us this year. We go 13-4. The best team in the AFC was the Steelers, who go 14-3. So we miss out by a game, getting a bye. So we are going to go through these upgrades really quick here. Brad Giles get some really nice upgrades. The reason why I took him is I don't know what we're gonna have, to do with in terms of potentially, trading our current starting middle linebacker. The reason why I took him, I guess I didn't explain this that much, but the idea is if we have to trade some guys for our final season, we have the ability to do that because we have guys, ready to go in terms of, being able to step in. Ben Morris, one of these guys that we took, I believe, here. And, we just kind of put a lot of time into trying to develop any of these guys to be left tackles. I don't know if any of them are going to be good enough to actually do that. It's entirely possible none of them will be. Like, that wouldn't be too odd just because I feel like tackles don't progress all that well. Oscar Irving, a lot of upgrade points here that he has gotten throughout this season. Because I did sim to the midseason mark, just because I had to do for the national scouting. I kind of wish they'd let you set that all at once. My guess is they found if you did it with the national scouting, you would probably, if you set the focus, you were probably reaching 100% of scouting and position groups too much, is my guess on why we have to wait till mid-season to do that. To set the focus for the national scout. That's only my guess. I don't know if that's 100% true, but that seems right because you always have some players left like 80% scouted. So if you were able to just fully scout them 100% from the start of the season, it would probably be really awkward. So all those upgrades done. Let's go take a look here at our stats. How did Josh Allen do? 4,100 yards, 41 touchdowns to 4 interceptions rushing. James Cook with another fantastic season with 1,200 yards receiving. Oscar Irving leading the way there. I do like to see that. Keon Coleman, very good. Khalil Shakir was very good. Dalton Kincaid was good. Tommy Sherman with 11 receptions, 3 touchdowns. Michael Wilson, only 11 receptions because, 4 guys are going to get the majority of the balls in the sim engine, and that kind of leaves everyone else kind of, fighting for scraps. But some good production still for those guys. And let's take a look here at the sack production. Gregory Rousseau has been very good for us. 14 sacks. Yaya Diaby, 10.5. 8.5 for Skylar Steele. TJ Sanders has been very good for us. I like that they're both South Carolina guys. I'm just now realizing that. Brad Giles, 5 sacks on the season. Do like to see that. And an interception. So that's pretty nice to see from him. And 3 interceptions for Terrell Bernard, our starting middle linebacker. I'm not sure what his contract status is exactly. He might be up for a new deal. And maybe I don't want to pay that because we have pushed so much money back the past couple years for the Super Bowl runs that, yeah. So we're going to go in here, do our weekly strategy stuff. And then we are going to make sure the lineup's all set to the best that it can be. We'll generate the best starting lineup. And then we got some more upgrades to do here real quick. Do all this stuff. Tommy Sherman gets another upgrade. Do like to see that. He's been progressing pretty nicely, but we are going to go in here, get the lineup set to the best that it can be. We're looking pretty good. Generate the lineup. And Oscar Irving moves up the charts a little bit here. So really nice stuff. Let's see if we can beat the Broncos here in the wild card round. Can we at least advance on into the divisional? We lose to the Broncos 28-14. So we do not get the opportunity to go back to back. We lose in the wild card round. And now that sets us up here for the final year of the rebuild. Year 4. can we get back and try to get a second ring for Josh Allen? All right, season recap. The Broncos did get to the Super Bowl. Josh Allen wins MVP, but they end up losing to the Detroit Lions right there. So, not too bad. I mean, I'm glad they lost. So, screw them. So, all that kicking the can down the road stuff? Not great. It did get us a Super Bowl, but this is where it really hurts. We really don't have the money to re-sign anyone. I have pushed out every contract that I possibly can, and we are not in a position to push out any more money. We're going to have to get to, I think, free agency here, and I think we're going to have to get to this next step of the offseason. I think we're going to have to trade some players here. Now, who's going to get traded? Well, I'm not 100% sure on that just yet, but we are going to take a little bit of a step back in terms of our roster. But what we are going to have to do here for this final year, I think, and this is going to be really simple, Khalil Shakir is going to have to get traded, I think, at the very least. We have enough talent here, and Shakir would likely open up a little bit more money for us. So let's see. We could probably trade him. We could trade him to the Cowboys, and this could solve our left tackle issue that we have, actually. And we could get Doug Gardner. And we're going to make that deal. We do get now we get a tackle. We needed a tackle. We absolutely needed to get a left tackle. So, okay. He only has 1 year left on his deal, but at the very least, we get a tackle in here, and that could help us. So what else do we do? Right? James Cook. We do love James Cook around these parts. We love him. We think he's great. We're just not in a position, I think. Oh, wow. We could get Khalil Shakir and a bunch of stuff back for... it's real. I really almost want to do this, but that's just cheating. I'd like to see if there's an edge around here that we could go out and get. Does anyone have an edge player that they want to give us? And there's really not, but there is a really good corner here, super young, and we get a second round pick in 2031 that we can maybe finagle into a 2030 second round pick from someone if we need to. So I want to see the player card. I want to see what he's only a second year player. So yes, we want to do that deal. 100% we will do that deal. This is what annoys me with this feature. They give you trades, and then they're like not possible to be done. Like what? So you know what? I don't want... Here, take these 2 picks back. Let's go find someone who has like that guy could do that. And they see now all these guys are too good. So now we have to find someone who... Well, you know what? You actually don't need that running back. And how about you give me... Well, you have all these edge guys. So why don't you give me one of your... Legitimately, why don't you give me one of your... Yeah, give me one of your backup edge guys. Give me this guy. Now I'm asking for too much back. All right. I want to do this trade. It sucks that we can't just do it as is when it was offered to us, because I have to do this if I want to get the fucking cap to work, because this game's really stupid. How about a 2029 fourth? That doesn't get it done. I hate Madden. I truly hate this game. Why show me something if I can't have it? Someone put that Kevin Garnett clip up from that movie. You know the one. Jesus, this game, I swear this game is coded by morons. All right, let's look around. Let's look around. Let's look around. Let's stay calm here. Let's counter this offer. Maybe we'll do another deal with the Cowboys. Remove. What's going on here? Why is it not letting me remove Shakir from the trade? Is this game stupid? Honestly, is this game just coded by morons? So, all right, let's try this one more time. James Cook. What's that offer the Cowboys are giving us here? They want to give us their first. Can we change this trade? Why can't I get Shakir out of this thing? What's going on here with this? I want an edge rusher. We need one. Do you have an edge rusher that you can give me? Yeah, give me Donovan Ezaraku. And I don't want Shakir. Why is it forcing Shakir on this? What is this? Okay, we'll just manually go do this trade then. Because I don't actually want Shakir back, because I feel like that would be very cheesy of me to do. But if they do want to give me a first round pick, I am willing to take their this year's first and a third and a 2 next year. Give me all of that. Even though I don't need that 2 next year. But I'll take a first and a third and a 2 next year. We get an edge rusher because we had to get Yaya Diaby walk, and we get James Cook, or they get James Cook. We move off of James Cook. That frees up a little bit more money for us to go out here and potentially do some things if we want to. So Spencer Brown not going to be with us anymore. That does suck a little bit, but it's what we had to do to make that happen. So we can go back here now, defensive tackle. I want to bring TJ Sanders back. I don't know if he wants to be back, but I would like to have TJ Sanders back. I think him and Steele make a good pairing. And we could bring him back. Now, though, we do need a running back. And that's going to be a little tough. But you know what? Give me Bashal Tootin. If we can get Bashal Tootin in here, I think we'll be good. And then we'll just go to the draft and see if we can make some stuff happen there. We have picks, so we can wheel and deal if we need to. So we bring back TJ Sanders and we bring in Bashal Tootin. We get Ezaraku as well, so that gives us another edge player. That took longer than I wanted it to take, but, you know, that does help some things out. We get a tackle here. We did have to trade Khalil Shakir, but we're pretty good at receiver. Bashal Tootin's there. You know, it is what it is there. Defensively, we get Ezaraku. We keep TJ Sanders, and we're pretty good here. We could maybe use another corner, but we might have to find that in the draft. And I think we will target corner in the draft. So, yeah, that does kind of change things for us a little bit. We're good at tackle for this upcoming season, but I think we'll probably target another corner. And this quarterback, Xavier Hatchett, could be another guy that we could actually trade. I didn't mention that is a potential trade piece, is that quarterback that we have. He's a backup. Granted, for the game, it would make sense for us to trade Josh Allen and keep and build around Hatchett, just because these quarterback contracts get so like unruly. But that's not what we're going to do. Hatchett is very good. Someone needs a quarterback. The Lions just won a Super Bowl. And, Jared Goff is getting up there in age, and they don't have a clear replacement. How about you give me your first round pick for this quarterback? Xavier Hatchett. Ooh, that's close. That's close. We could definitely sweeten the pot here. Here, take pick. Take our 4th rounder. And there we go. So we get a 3rd first-round pick here. I don't know what I'm going to do with all these picks, but we have 3 of them, so we can kind of do whatever the hell we want. All right, so we are here in the draft, looking around. What do we want to do? And there is a really good running back here, actually, that looks pretty nice. Not a great catcher, but great speed, elite acceleration, great change of direction. We have 3 picks. We are going to take a running back here. I know we brought in Bashal Tootin, but number 8 in True Value, got him at 20. Hidden Dev, nice pick right there. I think here that immediately, I think, gives us another weapon here. Yeah, so I like it. And we are going to go to the next user pick here, which is going to be pick 24. And we're going to look around here and see if there's anything else that we like. Because we're keeping all these picks. And I think we are going to take Calvin Bates here. Looks like pretty good actual center. So we're going to take him as well. He is number 27 in True Value. Also Hidden Dev. And then we're going to our next user pick here, which is going to be pick number 32. And we don't pick again until the 3rd round, which is fine. I don't really mind that. And we're going to take a free safety, Brent Rosenthal. Zone coverage. Pretty good looking player, actually, as well. Because I may do a 5th year. Not 100% sure, but I do like all of that. We're going to skip to our next user pick as well, which is going to be pick 3, or round 3, pick 20. I think those are all good players right there. We have 2 picks in this round as well. And these menus are slow. I know they fixed the menus, but they still feel really slow, regardless of them being fixed, quote unquote. They are quote unquote fixed. I don't really feel that. They still just kind of feel as slow as they ever have been. We do need to bring in another receiver, and that's going to be Courtney Ward here. We're moving very quick here. Number 70 in True Value, got him at 84. Normal dev, but we just needed to bring in another one just to have depth there at that position. And then we're going to make our last pick here, and then I'll let the CPU handle the rest. None of our favorites are on the board still. Maybe there's a corner here in this draft. Was this a okay draft class for corners? Not particularly. But there is one right here. Doesn't look very good if I'm being honest, but yeah, he has great speed. We'll see. I doubt he's any good. Number 98 in True Value, got him at 88, but he does have Hidden Dev, so maybe we can develop him. I don't know if he'll make an impact his first year, but that's the draft. We're in and out, ton of picks. Feels like we kind of just didn't get too many great draft classes. Still, even despite having all those picks, maybe could have moved up, but decided to stay where we were. Stick and pick, and I think we got some okay players. We'll see once we get to the draft recap, though. So draft recap, we actually ended up drafting a lot of players. The CPU did, and honestly, this is Phil Livingston guy that they took. Doesn't look all that great, honestly, despite being a 72 overall. J.I. Kirkpatrick looks pretty good, though. He has 94 speed, 94 acceleration, 76 break tackle. Looks really good. I do wonder what his dev trade is. Sucks we had to trade James Cook, but I think we did okay there. Got a bunch of picks. Calvin Bates looks pretty good as well. Also hidden dev player as well. Run block finesse, run block power could use some work, but apart from that, looks pretty good. And then Brent Rosenthal. Pretty nice looking player as well. Tackling could use some work. Man coverage could use some work. Play right could use some work. But overall, I think he looks like a pretty solid player. Probably a future replacement for Cole Bishop. Courtney Ward, 72 overall. Bashad Duke, 70 overall, actually. Also hidden dev. Coverage skills, gonna need some work for sure, but apart from that, doesn't look like that bad of a player. So, got a lot of depth here that this team is gonna need just because you can't re-sign all the players that have been on here for the years. So, I think we actually did pretty good if we were like gonna like do like 5, 6, 7 years, but did I maximize it for this year? I'm not 100% sure. Our first time getting a dev trade upgrade for a player in one of these training camp drills of this rebuild, and it's Oscar Irving going up to superstar dev. He also gets 2 skill points, but I was about to make a mention of this. We've done a lot of this damage with this offense without having a true superstar receiver. The only one that we did that was even kind of close was Mike Evans, and that was only for a single season before he retired. So Oscar Irving up to superstar dev. Love to see it. All right, so we did some training camp drills, and again, we have 11 points here for Bashad Duke, and we are going to spend a lot of these points here. I'll check back in when I'm finished. So Bashad Duke up to a 77 overall, also has star development. We got a lot of his man coverage rating up here to an 83, 75 zone, 78 play rec. So, not 100% sure if he'll be on the field much this year, but he could potentially do some nice things for us. J.R. Kirkpatrick, the running back we took, has superstar dev, and we have 7 upgrade points for him. We're going to put at least 4 of these into elusive, and then we're going to, I think, put the rest in receiving for him. He needs some help to be a receiving back. And actually, that's good enough. I think we're going to put the rest of these in receiving just to help out with that. I'm not sure how that affects the sim necessarily. I feel like running back is just kind of whatever for the most part in the sim engine, but it seems like it would be a good idea to make sure that he can also, catch and do all the other good running back stuff that you want your running back to be able to do here in the modern NFL. So, a lot of time spent here with this draft class. I feel like your first draft class in a rebuild and your last one is some of the most important ones. And I think we got a bunch of guys here with our ability to get them upgraded. I think we got a bunch of guys here who can easily, immediately, I think, step right in and I think play and contribute. Calvin Bates is a little bit interesting because we did take a center. I don't know if he'll start, but he looks like a really good player, and we are going to get him up to whatever we get him up to. We could potentially look to trade Connor McGovern, have our new starting center. Is McGovern our starting center? I keep forgetting. Either way, up to a 78 overall, and we're going to push to get him pretty close here to still 78, but some nice upgrades for him as well. And yeah, run block power is still not where we want it to be, so we're going to have to focus on the power with him later. But pretty nice stuff. Oscar Irving got that dev trait upgrade up to a superstar. Was an interesting player when we drafted him. Only was a 69 overall when we drafted him, but he has shot up here very quickly. Reason why we traded Khalil Shakir. Maybe should have did that a year sooner, get him off the books quicker, but wanted to make another run at a Super Bowl with Shakir. And Irving going to be up to an 89 overall here easily. Can we get him to 90 straight? We do. 90 overall for Oscar Irving. And yeah, superstar dev as well. He has progressed very, very nicely for us. Now it's going to be Justin Overton. We also have some upgrades here for Skylar Steele still. And for the rest of these, I think we'll focus on his nose tackle stuff. We've kind of ignored that because we've been more concerned with getting his pass rush ratings up. And I think that was the smart move for Skylar Steele. I believe he was a 7th round pick. And he has worked out pretty well for us, all the way up to a 94 overall here. So that's been nice. We also have another upgrade here for Josh Allen, starting to regress a lot here. Again, I've mentioned this once, and I'll mention again, I don't like quarterbacks regressing this much. I really don't want to see regression for quarterbacks, if I'm being honest. I I don't want to see accuracy things regress. I don't want to see that. I mean, if you want to regress physicals, cool. No problem with that. Agility, you want to regress that. Break sack, you want to regress that. Injury, things like that. 100% start regression with that. The idea of regressing accuracies, I don't actually really like that. I actually don't like that. That should be some of the last stuff that hits these guys, and that shouldn't hit, for being honest, until at least a few years when they're close to 40. I think would be I'd rather see that stuff start to regress. But the other stuff I don't necessarily have a problem with. I don't understand why they're so aggressive with the regression with quarterbacks, though. Just in general, and you don't see that much regression with other positions. So I do think that's very interesting. Like linemen, you really don't see linemen regress that much, even though maybe they should regress a little bit more, right? Maybe linemen should face more regression, um, defensive and offensively. I kind of would like to see that as opposed to the quarterbacks regressing so much. Like, I feel like running backs don't necessarily regress that much. I feel like you'll see running backs in Madden still be really effective well into their 30s, which is a little interesting. I feel like receivers maybe don't regress as much as they should either. Tight end skill possession players don't regress as much either. But either way, I'll see if they're starting the final season of the rebuild, I think. Potentially final season. Not sure. Okay, so final year of the rebuild. I'm pretty positive this will be the final year. We're an 88 overall across the board here. Josh Allen beginning to regress. And we also have a quarterback with Stardev backup. That looks very nice, but offensive line looks pretty decent here. Defense still looks really good. Lots of depth here. Really good cornerback room. We brought in Marlon Humphrey. He got cut, so we just brought him in as a kind of just a body. Just to have, honestly. And yeah, so defense still looks really good. Donovan Azaraku as our other edge. So yeah, looks good here. What more can I say? We just have to get the job done in the playoffs. That's really kind of all it comes down to, in my opinion, is can we get the job done in the playoffs? Can we, I think, at the very least, try to get back to an AFC championship game, because that's embarrassing to lose in the wild card as defending Super Bowl champions. So hopefully we can do that. We'll see. I'll see you for the playoffs, though. Okay, so we go 14-3. Did all the upgrades. We are up to a 91 overall across the board here. Back to being the number one seed in the AFC. Let's go take a look here at the stats and awards. How did we do? Josh Allen, 4,300 yards, 38 touchdowns to 7 interceptions. And J.R. Kirkpatrick did pretty well, actually. 1,000 yards, 5 rushing touchdowns, 6 for Bashal Tootin. So he got a decent amount of carries as well. We didn't put it all on Kirkpatrick. Take a look here, and Oscar Irving led the way, 1,100 yards, almost 1,100 yards for Keon Coleman. Michael Wilson had a very good season as well with 10 touchdowns. Dalton Kincaid, another really good season for him. And yeah, looks really good right there. How did the defense do? And looks like Donovan Azaraku found a home here with Buffalo, able to get 13 sacks. That probably has to be his career best. Gregory Rousseau did very well. Skylar Steele, another just good, solid season for him. TJ Sanders, happy to have him back on board. So that all looked really good right there. In terms of interceptions, Brad Giles with 2, Marlon Humphrey with 2, Christian Benford with 2, Cole Bishop with 1, and Maxwell Harrison with 1. So Marlon Humphrey signing, not too bad, actually. Worked out pretty well. Kind of just a late addition for us. So we'll go see who we're playing in the divisional round. All right, divisional round, taking on the Bengals here. 10-7, first time we've seen them. I'm assuming they still have Joe Burrow. We're going to advance on here, see if we can beat the Bengals at home. Old Highmark Stadium, not new Highmark Stadium. Let's see. And we do beat the Bengals 38-14 in a rout, and we are taking on the Patriots one more time for a trip to the Super Bowl. So I will go jump in, see if we can beat the Patriots, and see if we can go to another Super Bowl and close out this rebuild, winning our second Super Bowl. Okay, AFC Championship game here. They're going to go for an onside kick recovery, so we have an opportunity here. I believe this is the last time we actually jumped in and played a game. We had to do all this. I'll try to get out of the way best I can. And they do pick that up here. Dunn picks it up, and that should do it. That should seal it. On to the Super Bowl we go. We defeat the Patriots in yet another AFC Championship game. 28-22. Let's go see if we can get ring number 2 for this Bills squad. You know, You know what? I guess I'll keep all this. I didn't even realize this. I was watching that franchise guy's video as I was doing this, and you could probably hear it in the background. So sorry about that. So unprofessional of me as he breaks down the top 10 receivers in this upcoming draft. But Josh Allen in this AFC Championship game, 17-23, 3 touchdowns, an interception. J.R. Kirkpatrick, 10 attempts, 92 carries, had a long 54-yard touchdown run, it looks like. And then receiving-wise, it was Oscar Irving, Dalton Kincaid, and Tommy Sherman leading the way. And then defensively, not able to pick anyone off, but Gregory Rousseau led the way with 2 sacks on this game. And looks like we had 2 forced fumbles, one from Skylar Steele and one from Brad Gillies or Giles. So... yeah. All right, Super Bowl Minneapolis here. We are taking on the LA Rams. Let's take a quick look at their roster. I feel like most of the rosters have been intact, but we're far enough in. I'm almost positive Matthew Stafford has retired. They still have Puka Nacua, Kyron Williams, a lot of the same guys, but then they have quarterback Nick McGee, along with Daniel Jones and some other guys here. So teams, I've also noticed in the sim, teams have way too many quarterbacks. They have constantly they'll have 4 quarterbacks, and there's probably too many good quarterbacks in draft classes. So either way, let's go see if we can win our second Super Bowl versus the Rams in Minneapolis. All right, we're in the Super Bowl here. Third down alert. We're not going to jump in. We are up 21-0 here. And again, we're just going to see if this team can do it on their own. They go up 24-0, a dominating performance so far here. Now make it still 24-0, and we can come get some points. And I guess we will come on the field, get some points one last time here. 3rd and inches, try to get one last score maybe to close this thing out. And we couldn't get it, actually. 4th and 2 coming up, actually. And we're going to go for it either way, actually. We're going to decide to go for it. Why not? We're up however many points. Why not go for it here? Get to play with some of these guys. Oscar Irving catches the football, picks up the first down. And that should just about do it right here. And we have one more play. We'll see. We'll throw one up to Coleman. Throw one up to Cookies. Let him make a play for the football. He comes down with it. Keon Coleman. Say goodnight. Cookies gets a Super Bowl touchdown, and that should do it. I mean, unless they can score however many points in however short of amount of time right there. Keon Coleman with the score, with the touchdown. We have the Rivals uniforms here in this one. Keon Coleman shutting this one out. And we're going to go up 31-0, and that's going to do it here. And the Bills get their second Super Bowl trophy. Dominating fashion versus the Rams. 31-0 here. And we had to tear this thing down slightly after last season's disappointment. Trade some key pieces away, let some key players go. But we were able to come back, retool, reload, and get Josh Allen ring number 2. Let's go take a final look at this roster before we close out this rebuild. And yeah, what another Super Bowl. Nice. And we'll take a quick look at these player stats for the Super Bowl. I didn't do it for the last one. I might start doing this a little bit more here, but 20 for 31, 278 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception on the day. J.R. Kirkpatrick. Feels like the run game just doesn't simulate well when you're doing it in via play the moments for whatever reason. Not sure what that's all about. But Oscar Irving a touchdown. Keon Coleman a touchdown. It's really good stuff here. Dalton Kincaid only 1 catch, but Looks like Oscar Irving had himself a day here. 141 yards. And then defensively, only one sack, one from Skylar Steele, then Brad Giles with an interception, and Marlon Humphrey with an interception here. And he took it back to the house. 81 yards, pick 6 for Marlon Humphrey. So that was a really good signing. I'm glad he got cut from whatever team cut him. It might have been the Raiders or something like that that cut him. So we bring him in and we reap the rewards of that. And this is your final look at this team. And I have to say, it all worked out pretty well here. Josh Allen getting 2 Super Bowl wins here so far. Still potentially has room for more before he regresses too much. Oscar Irving has been great. That was a great pick. Keon Coleman has progressed very nicely for us. Michael Wilson has been solid for us the entire time. I think it was worth trading those 2 second-round picks to get him. Dalton Kincaid has been very good. Sure, Tommy Sherman is waiting for his opportunity to really show what he can do as a starter. He still is very good, but still, not as good of a route runner and other things like that. I feel like for tight ends, it's a little tough to try to get their route running up at times, but either way, he still looks really good. He's been a key part. Trout has been really good as well. He's an 80 overall, so a really good tight end room. The defense has worked out pretty well for us, actually. TJ Sanders ended up being a really big piece of this. Gregory Rousseau has been a big piece. We've kind of had a, I want to say a revolving door at that other edge position, but, we never got a truly elite player there, but we always got someone there who was really good. Like I said, Skylar Steele has been good for us almost the entire time, so he is up to a 95 overall, only 25 years old, still has a very long career ahead of him. To get even better. Cornerback room, we kept it mostly intact from what it was. We really just added Valentine, Humphrey, and Duke here, who, again, he's a rookie. He's already up to an 80 overall, so he has a long way to go. So there's pieces here as the cap situations, the cap crunch, mostly from Josh Allen's contract, is going to get even worse. Brad Giles has progressed pretty nicely, so Nick Torres has been really good for us. Cole Bishop, I believe that contract comes up, so there is a replacement here in Brent Rosenthal, so that is a pretty nice thing. Got replacements here. I like the idea of trying to leave these teams in positions where, when we end these rebuilds, where realistically, they're going to have to let some guys walk, but they're still in a good position here for the future as well. I mean, J.R. Kirkpatrick, I'm sure some people are thinking, what, you're trading away James Cook? Well, I think we got a younger player here in J.R. Kirkpatrick who also looks really good. So I think you got rid of one elite running back and you ended up finding another one in the draft. So not too bad right there. Not too shabby, I think, this rebuild. So I think we did a really good job here with this team. If you enjoyed this one, leave a like. Let me know what you thought of it down below in the comment section. Go follow me on the Twitter. Follow me on Twitch. And I will see you guys for more rebuilds here on Madden 26. We still got a couple more we still got a lot of playoff teams to do. Probably going to head over to the NFC side of things. I have an idea on who I want to do next, but either way, I want to thank you guys for watching this video. Be sure to leave a like. Be sure to hit subscribe. Follow me on the Twitter. Follow me on the Twitch. Hit like, hit subscribe. Follow me on the Twitter. Follow me on the Twitch. I'm going to keep saying that. If I say it 3 times, you have to go do it. Follow me on the Twitter. Follow me on the Twitch. Hit the like button on this video, because if you're at this point, you've watched the whole thing, so you might as well hit the like button and hit subscribe, because you're obviously enjoying the content because you're still watching at this point. So hit that subscribe button now.